And what I argue in the book is basically that since the end of the Cold War, liberalism's been allowed to take the gloves off. And it's been allowed to try and spread very aggressively, fail, but try and spread very aggressively around the world. And it's become very aggressive within the societies themselves. And so, on my reading, basically liberalism peaks in the second Obama administration, and the cultural extremes and so on that we saw then. And the Ukraine war is probably its tombstone, but I think the Ukraine war, in retrospect, will be read as an overextension of a sort of a dying ideology. But I think now, 2026, we're pretty much, a few years into the collapse of global liberalism. And by that, I mean both a global order based on liberalism, or that aspires to be based on liberalism. And I also mean domestically. I think liberalism's collapsing domestically.
Well, you write that in the post-Cold War era, we had this belief that free markets and liberal democracy, they naturally reinforce each other. Again, a key theme of Fukuyama as well. However, if we look at scholars such as Professor Danny Roderick, he makes the point that if you look at democracy, national sovereignty, and globalization, you can't have all three. And this is kind of the ideology of the post-Cold War era, is that they all reinforce each other. But for example, if you have free markets, then at some point he makes the example of Mexico, that it matters less who you vote for in Mexico if you're Mexican, as opposed to who runs America, because this is where the economics comes in. How do you see then the free markets and liberal democracy